Watch what's approaching, the supreme moment. Reality striking closer than it seems, don't it? Go ahead, it's for the taking if you want it. If not, the dream dies and you'll be forever haunted. Then confront it.
What's good? Hopefully you guys are enjoying the weekend so far. I'm pretty much wrapped up with work all weekend, but I did want to take the chance to show off one of my favorite units in the game, if not the favorite unit in the game, at max level, 100% potential, as well as the max link levels. As you can see, I pretty much went with a heavy focus on crits, but did apply some skill overs toward additional attack because this guy does have the ability to greatly raise attack. And for a lot of the segments, you will see him paired up with the INT/LR cell just because of the partnership they bring, and then you will see a couple of supports on the rotation here and there. But again, this isn't a broken unit by any means, even in today's meta, but personally it's a favorite of mine. Honestly, it comes down to the fact that Cell is one of my favorite villains in the game, or in the series, as well as the card art itself being honestly one of my favorites, because it's personally one of the best looking card arts in the game, to be honest with you. So with all that being said, that's pretty much why I did focus on maxing out the link skill levels for this unit. But let's go ahead and cover the unit's stats and overall information about it, and we can kind of go from there. So again, this is the Extreme Z Awakened Intelligence Perfect Cell. The leader skill is all types, key +2 HP attack and defense, increase of 50%, so not really relevant from a leader skill standpoint, but all the other skill sets are pretty decent overall. So super attack again, greatly raises attack and causes supreme damage to enemy. The greatly raised attack is an equivalent of 50% within the 99 turn limit, so you can definitely build up the attack stats quite a bit throughout the battle, especially in somewhat longer settings like Infinite Dragon Ball History, or even the legendary Goku event. The passive skill itself is not too bad. Attack and defense increase to 90% at the start of the turn, and then recovers 20% HP whenever HP is 30% or below. It's kind of weird because I do have it linked up with the INT/LR cell, and obviously the transformation mechanic works where HP needs to fall below 30% in order for that to take effect. Now, the focus point today should be the link skill and the upgraded stats based on the level 10. So Revival is level 10, key +2, attack and defense increase of 5%, and recovers 5% HP and when HP is 50% or below. Revival is not a link shared with the INT/LR cell unless he transforms, so in order for that to activate, you do have to have the transformation take effect. Messenger from the Future at level 10 is attack increase of 10%. Big Bad Bosses is attack and defense increase to 25%. Again, you no longer have that HP restriction at level 10, so very nice there. Kamehameha's attack increase of 10% when super attack is launched. Attack of the Clones is key +2 and chance of evading increased by 5%. Ultimate Life Form is key +2 and attack and defense increase of 10% and recovered 3% HP as well. And finally, Fierce Battle is a flat attack increase of 20%. So again, with the LRN cell, you do share quite a bit of links. Again, Messenger from the Future, Big Bad Bosses, Kamehameha, I think, and then Ultimate Life Form, as well as Fierce Battle. Those are all pretty much links shared with the other cell unit. So a lot of boosting does take effect with that. And honestly, the type of support units on the rotation might not necessarily link or share link skills like the Metacooler you're seeing right there, but Metacooler does provide a decent boost to stats as well as a key boost to the extreme type unit. So again, not a bad option to include on a team. And the other ones are pretty typical stuff like the Strength Cooler, obviously because of the lead, and Kid Buu, phenomenal support obviously, and all these guys are pretty much maxed out. I do want to note the INT/LR cell or LR INT cell does not have max level links. I'm still kind of slowly working toward that. So again, the output could potentially be a lot better with that being said. The other units, I don't know, I think I pretty much covered most of them at that point. I do have Janemba on here, but pretty much being used at a different rotation just to be able to tank the attacks and drop the enemy's defense a little bit. So that's pretty much the overall team structure for this particular showcase. And the INT cell, not the greatest by any means, but I think it's a worthwhile enough unit to be able to include on a variety of setups. Predominantly, I think it would make most sense to include him on, either the Android Cell Saga or, the Androids category. Versatile enough unit to where you can actually include him on, a variety of settings outside of that. Resurrected Warriors one, full power. Obviously, full power you can include it with the Dragon Ball Super full power Broly because it is a dual category lead with movie bosses and full power. So of course this guy can potentially link up quite well with a variety of units. Again, transformation boost, another one. Time travelers, artificial life forms, and then the revenge category is another one as well. So again, a lot of categories this unit falls into, and not a bad unit. Overall, I personally do like this unit still, and I might not run him as much as I used to, but whenever an opportunity arises, I think it's a good occasion for that to be showcased. I did cover this already, or you saw glimpses of it, but HP at 100% potential with the EZA 16,694, attack is 15,110, defense is 11,879. So compared to some of the more recent EZAs, it could potentially be a little bit on the lower side in terms of like the stats themselves, but again, I did apply some skill orbs to where I did increase certain parameters. Again, I went with, I think for the silver one, I went with the level 5 additional attack just to get that to at least level 11 total, and I kind of left the gold spot open. I'm not sure if I want to assign it just yet, so I've been kind of on the fence a little bit in terms of what attribute to increase for that one, but I don't know, maybe I'll end up doing it for another at least minimum of 3 levels toward additional attack. Again, just given the fact that he does have the Kaioken mechanic where you can stack the attack stats based on every super attack, so it might not be a bad idea to do so. But again, I'm just kind of on the fence of how I want to go about it, and at the end of the day, the skill orbs, especially the ones with higher levels toward the potential skills and whatnot, they're still a little bit rare to come by. You do have to kind of reserve them for the better units, and with that being said, the perfect cell that this is the showcase is for, not necessarily a top tier unit where you want to necessarily give that type of skill orb to the unit, but I think at the end of the day, this is a very, very solid unit. It's not the best, and there's plenty of other units you could certainly include as a better alternative option, but if you are looking to build out a cell team or a Android setup, it's certainly not a bad one. Again, links up pretty well with some of the other cell units as well, so I think overall certainly not a bad unit. Again, it's just up to personal preference. I personally really love this unit, so that's kind of why I've been willing to invest the potential orbs and SA levels or whatever, as well as the time it takes to actually grind through the link skill levels. And again, it's no easy task. It does take a pretty decent amount of time to do that, but for personal favorite units, it's certainly worthwhile. And it's all at the end of the day, it's a nice little addition to have in the collection. You know what I mean? That's pretty much the takeaway with it, is work on the links that for units that you personally love to run, and whether it be current state applicable units, or it's just sitting in the duster as part of a collection. I think it really just comes down to what your preferences are and what you want to do. Obviously there are you do want to take a balanced approach with that, where you do want to kind of focus on some of the better units before you work on some of the lower tier units, but just mix it up a little bit is my recommendation, because grinding through it is pretty rigorous, and you could certainly burn out if you're not careful. Alright, so this is finally with the transformation taking place, a little bit of a boost from Meta Cooler, so not a bad setup. 2.2 million attack stats, so certainly respectable in that figure. I did use an item in this case. I think it was the Android 8, just to get the defense a little bit better, and obviously this cell doesn't have necessarily the greatest defense. You do get a 90% boost as part of the passive, and I think you can get the defense up to about 136,000, which isn't bad by any means. It's actually pretty decent, but we'll still take a pretty decent amount of hits. So yeah, I mean, with that, with all that, still decent production. I think you can get upwards of 4 million potentially toward the end of the battle. So certainly not bad. I think what helps this unit out really is the ability to greatly raise attack as part of the super, and of course, you know, over the course of time when the longer battles take effect, this guy does become better. The only drawback is, again, only a 90% defensive boost as part of the passive, so you know, it could certainly be a little bit of a liability, especially facing tougher enemies with their super attacks. You know, ranging from a neutral setting or a type disadvantage, but I guess the silver lining or saving grace to this is he does have a built-in passive where you can get a 20% HP recovery when HP is 30% or below. So you know, when you're in a little bit of a crunch, I guess it can help a little bit, and you can certainly look at it in that regard. For the, you know, I wanted to include a couple of clips of the LR First Form Cell included because there are links that is unique to those units, whereas, you know, for example, LRN Cell doesn't necessarily have. I think one of them was Attack of the Clones. I'm not sure if the Revival was one that was shared immediately. It might be. I can't remember on top of my head, but you know, at least Attack of the Clones is key +2 and chance of evading attacks increased by 5%. So, you know, those could potentially kick in, but at the end of the day, I think instead of LR First Form Cell, I think it's better off you have a support like Strength Cooler or Turles or whoever, just providing that extra boost toward, you know, attack and defense. I would look at it that way, as in terms of like, you know, team building and whatnot, and making sure you optimize the team. You know, First Form Cell is great, but a little bit lackluster. It is a free-to-play prime battle LR at the end of the day, so that's the way I would look at it. But again, this is the 100% potential showcase with the max level links on one of my personal favorites, which is the Intelligence Perfect Cell. Again, hopefully you guys enjoyed watching the video. As always, thanks for checking it out, and I will check you guys out next time. Alright, peace out.